I love looking into the future and trying to figure out what's coming. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I get it wrong. But when it comes to what we're going to talk about today, I know that I am spot on. There will be objections. There will be people that say you can't do that. Yes, you will be able to. I can almost guarantee it. And, well, let's get into it this morning. And a very good morning to you. Another cold and chilly day here in NorCal. But let's get into it. A lot of people are on Social Security disability, and they have noticed that the cost of living, as have I. Full disclosure, I'm on Social Security, having worked for 50 years. Thank you, sir. May I have my may I have my check now? And I'm living on that too, to a very large extent, with some savings. Never really had a 401k or anything like that. I don't know. Okay, it's fine. I'm not complaining, right? I'm not that money driven, but a lot of people are living very close to the margin right now. All right. And when it comes looking at their checks and then looking at things like rent, and they're thinking to themselves, man, if I sustain one more increase in rent, I might end up living in a car. And a lot of people are living that way today because, well, we don't have the affordable housing that we once had in America. Plus, when we went through the pandemic, we boosted the money supply by 50%, and that caused inflation to just spiral out of control, along with pent-up demand. Now we have problems in the food chain with eggs, and now it's bleeding over to dairy. We could have a real problem feeding people at an economic cost in the future. But that'll be for another video, so like and subscribe here. And make sure that you're a part of the channel here, because we're covering some stuff, and the next year or two promises to be a barn burner. And I am pledged, and I get tons of requests to do videos. Stay ahead of the curve if you can. Let's talk about the curve that's coming in real estate, and what's old is new again. There's never anything new under the sun. And there's a lot of truth to that because, well, ideas come forth in time, depending on the circumstances in the time. And up until about the 1950s, boarding houses were not uncommon in America, right? As a matter of fact, in Boston in the 1830s, as you can see here, something like 1/3 of the population, right? 1/3 to 1/2 of the population lived in a boarding house. For those of you who don't know, they were common in Baltimore when I was growing up, and even before I moved out, I had experiences in boarding houses. Sometimes the food was good, sometimes it wasn't, depending on if the owner of the boarding house had drank too much before she went to prepare the meals. But it was a lot of fun. Okay. And it made it, before I really got going in life, it was an affordable option for me to live in a place with 8 other people and share a communal table and all that down in the ghetto in downtown Baltimore, over there near the Perkin Homes projects on Caroline Street. But it's an iteration that I think is going to be coming back again. Now, before you scream, not in my backyard, trust and believe when the pressure gets high enough that there's just overwhelming number of people living in cars and trash that's difficult to dispose of, human waste, where do you get cleaned up and things like that. It starts to become a sanitation issue, as it has here in Santa Rosa, along with people that are living on the streets and things like that. But a lot of laws in a lot of nations say you can't have the boarding houses. It's not allowed by zoning. But remember, zoning laws are not like the 10 Commandments carved in stone. They can definitely change as the times change. And trust and believe, when pressure grows, it'll be considered a virtuous double-edged sword of greatness. Number one, the people that have these houses that can't rent them out whole will go ahead and start boarding operations. More and more homes will just rent out individual rooms on a monthly basis, and then Some of them will be a little more entrepreneurial and start to bring meals back to these operations to make them more attractive. Ain't nobody wants you running your hot plate up in your room, okay? Burning down the joint and all that. And what a lot of boarding houses did was give you the option: do you want the food, or do you want the food and housing? Not, you couldn't get the food alone, but do you want the roof over your head, or do you want the whole shebang? You want the food and the housing over your head, and you would pay X dollars a month for that once a week, or maybe once every 2 weeks. Your clothing, your laundry would get done in your room. You would have a communal shared bathroom. And a lot of people say, ooh, well, let me tell you, when you're down and out and times are tough and money's tight, right? Hey, man, you'll be glad to have a bathroom with a flushing toilet and maybe a shower. Okay, we've elevated a long way from a lot of the way the rest of the world lives, and a lot of the rest of the world is used to things like boarding houses and things like that. And it was an immensely popular thing at the turn of the century and through the 1920s, and especially through the Great Depression. Remember the movie Wonderful Life? Ma Bailey ran her, Ma Bailey's boarding house or whatever once it became Potterville or whatever. It was all bad news. But the point is, it fits the times. Right, so if you have a $1,500 check from Social Security or Social Security Disability, and you can no longer afford the $1,300 of rent that your rapacious landlord wants to choke out of you, your options are few and far between. Either move to absolute slums, which some people would do, or start seeking out living in your car. And like I said, that reaches a point, and pretty soon local governments and ordinances will start to allow the return of boarding houses with the sign outside, rooms for rent. Because instead of putting $1,200 of your $1,500 check towards housing, and thereby forcing yourself to live on $1 a day basically with electric and everything, food and all that, you have a chance to downscale to maybe $400, $500, $600 a month. If you get the full benefit, $700 a month, a full benefit plan. Hey, you ain't going to be eating like a queen. All right, they're not going to be writing it up in the New York Times, the best cuisine in the boarding houses of Santa Rosa or whatever. But you'll be glad to have, a meal, at least maybe one meal a day, and maybe two, like I enjoyed, plus the communal company of other people. Yeah, sometimes it can be a little smelly, right? It's smelly for you. Breath. Don't talk to me right at the table. But it can be a lot of fun, too. So this is the next great prediction that I'm making. In the next few years, I can almost guarantee you that you will see the return of full-fledged boarding houses in America. What goes around comes around. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this little foray into the future, and well, it'll be interesting to follow anyway. But if you're not subscribed, it's a great time to subscribe and hit that bell for all notification. Not only commentary and things like that, but vintage audio restorations playlists. Go to the front of the channel. There's playlists galore with hundreds of videos of restoration rescues of some of the greatest vintage audio pieces ever produced. Plus, there's metal detecting, travel, live streams, demonstration, cooking. There's a lot. Okay, so it's like one of the last true variety channels on YouTube. Well, in their 13th year, I would love you to be a part of it. So subscribe and hit that bell for all notifications. And let me know what you think down below. The return of the glorious boarding house. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Thanks for watching, anybody. Plus, oh, by the way, it's not the worst cure in the world for loneliness, especially among the elderly. You have some pals, sing around the piano right now. All right. Happy birthday. Right. Thanks for watching, everybody.